Yeah,
Who
who
knows?
knows? I think the main thing that I hope VR stays is that it's community driven.
Hmm.
It's not ran by high corporations and
Hmm.
all of that. VR chat itself, same with Chill Out and Neos and Rec Room, uh, they are social platforms,
Hmm.
much like Twitter, Instagram, etc. They're social VR platforms. And I really don't want to see this become.
Hello, welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion.
I'm Old Man Raptor, and our guest is.
I am Yamazakura.
Nice to
Or
meet
you can honestly just call me Yama.
Yama. Well, it's a pleasure to have you, Yama. Thank you very much for your time. Hmm.
Yes, indeed, Yama.
Hmm.
We
So,
appreciate you being here.
what is it you do here in VR?
I am a photographer. I basically just go around worlds and take beautiful photos.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I'm working within clubs or TVRS and photograph for them.
Hmm. So,
Oh, like
I
like a journalist, like somebody that takes journal pictures, like a
No, just an actual just photographer.
photographer. Okay.
Generally, I've got a friend that does journaling for them. Kind of they're just a journalist in general.
hmm.
I haven't seen anything recently because they've been moving. But
Hmm.
I mainly just go in, vibe, help out with staff, and just take photos.
Okay. So,
Ah,
how did you get involved with all of that? Because it sounds like you're up to quite a bit.
Oh God. I I started taking photos in here maybe around a year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago at this point now, honestly.
Hmm.
And I've always loved the idea of capturing a moment and telling a story within that photo.
Hmm.
So I've always been into taking photos. And it wasn't until like this January when I really stepped up my game, buying VRC lens to actually just improve my photos, have a lot more control. Because as great as the VRChat camera is, having just an actual system, like if I can enable it, holy, like this VRC lens, it is just so much easier. I can
Hmm.
control pretty much like a normal camera at this point. But I've improved using that, and then sometime I think in February, March, I reached out to Fia because be like, hey, I want to take photos for you. I love doing this. I want to help out with this. And they were glad to have me join them. And then more recently, I joined Club Schism. Uh, it's a club owned by a thrill seeker, and I just recently joined that to take photos because they were needing photographers.
Ah. So, how how big is the VR chat photo scene or photographer scene? Because I've only encountered a handful of people who do what you do, so I haven't really talked to too many.
To be honest, I haven't either. I'm kind of more secluded. I want to like branch out to other photographers, honestly. I know it's probably a mix. I know it can be big, but at the same time, you don't see it everywhere. Because when
Mm.
you think of obviously VR chat content creation, you've got podcasts, you've got TikToks, you've got Twitch streams and YouTube videos, but like not many people actually delve into learning the camera and actually capturing that moment. Sure,
Mm.
you've got like your funny moments and taking photos, like memorizing that, but actually capturing the beauty of a world, because you said it yourself, there are beautiful worlds in here.
Mm.
Oh my God, it is insane. And I love exploring these worlds.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a lot. I I know I think more with the Japanese community, there's a lot more photographers. I don't think there's a lot. I don't think there's many. more American or just in general English photographers, I'd say.
No,
Not as many as I see on Twitter, at least.
it seems the American community want to be more like streamers or what we do. I guess it's a lot more common this way versus photos.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I just love just capturing just beautiful worlds like this one, and just even events themselves, just capturing that moment and showcasing just how beautiful it is within VRChat, honestly.
So when you're working on a photo, let's say you have one photo you have for a world, let's say this one, for example, how long does it take you to process and choose and do what it is that you do, either for an event or what say you?
So whenever I come to a world, if I'm just doing like solo shoots of myself, I can, depending on what the world gives me, I can be creative, but my creativity is not as big as some other people. But as long as the world is beautiful, has a lot of stuff to interact with, or just big enough like how this world is, I can spend maybe 10-30 minutes in here figuring out how I want to take a photo and how it should look. And if I do post, which I generally do post with my photos, I kind of get to it when I get to it, and that can take me like 10 minutes to do, honestly. But if we go through events, like with TVRS, I take up to like 600 photos during an event. My biggest batch was over 1,000 photos,
Wow.
and that was during Nurtured 2. If you know I'm Naku, he hosted that a couple months back.
I'm not sure who Nurtured 2 is at all, to be quite honest. What is that?
So do you know I'm Naku?
I do not.
He's a musician, and he branches that inside VRChat, and a lot of people within the VRChat community view him as the Porter Robin prodigy.
Okay.
They view him as a Porter Robinson, and we hosted an event. I think in March it was. We hosted an event all for him, for Naku. We called it the Naku Experience, and I don't know. I could honestly just go into the photos and just like see how many I took that day, but it was an amazing event. If anyone knows the virtual reality show or TVRS, I'm sure you know of the VOD that came out. If you haven't, I should give you the link to go to the VOD channel, because what they do for their shows are great. But after that, Naku loves just my photography in general. Is like, hey, I want you to come to my event that's at the end of the month, and it's Nurtured 2. I think it's supposed to be, if I can think of the word, just as something to match with Porter Robinson with his Nurtured stuff. And it was a 2-day event lasting so many hours. I was in here for 11 hours one day, nonstop, just constantly shooting photos. There were a ton of DJs. It was just a whole lot of music fun. I had a lot of fun, and it holds my record of most photos taken of being over 1,000 because
Wow.
I was in there for 11 hours.
Holy shit. I'm sure your backup drives really enjoyed those photos. 1,000.
1,000. Wow.
No. I always like playing the game with my friends and just with the people I work with. Be like, hey, guess how many photos I took? And they know me at this point, but they give me like a low ball. Like sometimes they're like, oh, like 300. I'm like, nah, try 600. Like, not even. And when I got hired for Nurtured 2, I was like, he hired a photographer, so we're gonna go all out. 1,000 photos later. Oh,
That sounds nuts.
I love the photos. It is. I love the photos, but then my future self hates me because then I have to edit them and post. Be like, why did I take this many? And obviously I don't use all of them for anything. They get rid of the bad ones, and there's always some bad ones. Especially back then, I was using just the manual focus within VRC Lens, so I could be out of focus. Something could not be framed right, but within those, I've gotten so many beautiful photos. If you guys know Thrill Seeker,
Yeah, I'm
which if you're within the VR community, you must know about him. But he played there that night I worked, and I got a beautiful photo of Fia looking up at him while he was playing. I always look back at that photo and just love how I captured that because you cannot get that again. You cannot. It is a one-time thing, and that's what I love about taking photos.
I don't blame you. So I do have a technical question, and this is just from my understanding. What's the difference between VRC lens and the camera that allows you to take photos like the ones you just mentioned?
So with the Vrchat camera, it's just a basic level camera. You are able to focus, you're able to take photos or stream from it, and it's just your basic level of a camera. That's what it's supposed to be, honestly, and I'm glad it is that way because it can get newer people to understanding how that works. With VRC Lens, though, this allows me to it allows me to control the actual VRChat camera a lot more. And I couldn't explain to you how it works, but basically whatever this lens here sees goes into the VRChat camera. So if I'm ever working an event, you will constantly just like see me holding my camera, generally probably somewhere over here, and I will have the actual camera up framing it. But it allows you to control so much that you couldn't do with the actual camera. You can change the actual exposure. You can zoom in way further, up to 1,200 millimeters. You can change the white balance. There's different, what are they called? There's different picture styles. There's like 4 different ones that you can choose from. There's autofocus. It's got a better focusing system, because it's got focus peaking. You can stream with it. You can use it as a drone. It's not as good as the VRChat drone though, because you are using it within the action menu. It's got better aperture, so you can make your photos so much more sharper and have a much better blurrier background. You can change your bokeh too within it. It's Go on.
I was gonna ask, what's a bokeh? I'm very simple-minded.
Funny enough, we were just chatting with my photography professor. Apparently it's from it's a Japanese word or whatever. But if you ever take a photo, and obviously you have that blurry background, but if there's like bright light, you know how the light is like circles?
Yeah.
Little faded circles. That is considered bokeh. And you can change that within post, and with certain actual real life lenses, you can change that. But within here, you can change it from that normal circle to a hexagon to an octagon, and then just a square.
Okay.
But it gives you a lot more, as well as different sensor types. But that's just camera knowledge.
Okay. So, do you do any photography in real life, or does all your work directly in here in VRChat?
I have started doing photography in real life. I started in here because within here I was able to actually practice and breach out with it. Starting with the VRChat camera, and I was like, you know what? If I'm going to learn actual photography, and up my game, might as well buy a VRChat lens, have that control, and understand a bit more about a camera. And then along with that, starting earlier this year, I got my first camera and I started actually doing just more sports photography for a team I used to play back in high school. And now I'm actually taking classes on just more basic understanding and what I can do better.
Okay. So
And obviously, I can't throw my VRChat photos within here, so I have to take actual IRL shots, which I do.
okay. Well, it's really cool to hear that you started it here and it leaked out into the real world into a real profession. That's an amazing thing, and kudos
Yeah.
to you. I wish you the absolute best with all of that.
Thank you.
Well-
Like I said, I've always just loved photography. I've always looked at just the art side of life. Just online, just seeing people that can draw amazing things and just the amazing photos that people can take. And I was like, I want to do that. Obviously, I can't draw. I could learn and do that. I have an iPad. I could totally do that, but my knowledge of drawing will not go anywhere. I am not that type of person. But photography, oh my god, I love it.
So, in the beginning, what brought you to VRChat photography that led to all this success?
I probably couldn't say off the top of my head. Honestly, without joining VRChat back in 2021, I know it was like Christmas 2020 or something. I've been here for almost 3 years now. God. But without joining in within VRChat, I probably would not have pursued through photography, honestly. I don't know what got me started. I just thought to myself as, hey, photography. I can do that within here, especially with the new camera system. So let's just do this. Let's start an Instagram, let's start a Twitter, let's start just uploading and just figuring out how it goes. And I really didn't get that extra push until someone really encouraged me to actually start chasing that back in January. And I thank them for that because I would not be where I am without them.
So, now, what does your photography professor think of your VRChat career, I guess is the way you could put it?
Oh, I have no clue. I have not shown anything. I honestly don't show a lot of VR chat to anyone, honestly. Just because of the way people think of VR within itself, and some people might not understand VR chat, especially since I am a guy within a female avatar. I know my mom thinks of me being crazy, but I digress. But like I've tried showcasing like to some of my friends, being like, this is what I do. These are the most beautiful worlds that you can see that you can't experience in real life. Like, it's unbelievable. Okay, bye, leg.
Well, one of the things I've found is there are a lot of things about VRChat. A lot of people on the outside, like people who work with this whole what I do here. I talk with people all the time about it, and some people I know is actually are trying themselves to get in here. Simple fact by seeing some of the things that go on or people I've talked to, whatever, and they're like, I want to try it out. Then there are things like for example,
Yeah.
what Thrill Seeker or the VRChat clubs, or musicians and DJs here. No one really understands that that's actually a thing or how large it is here.
Exactly. It's truly a beautiful thing. Just what this has created. Just VR within itself has created in general. It's I could go on a whole talk about VR, honestly. I love it to death.
Go for it. We have no time limit.
Oh no.
Well,
I
You opened
a
up a can of
couple.
worms, young man. Look out, you're playing in it now. Watch out for the mud puddle. Might be deep on one end. You just played in it.
yeah, one of the things when you talk to people such as yourself, we generally, unless you're dumb me like the previous two videos, like I'm gonna talk with all these people one after the other. I do that sometimes, but generally I try and shoot to do enough where you can sit as long as it takes for a video to go on. Natural conversation. So you want to talk about VR? Let's go. Let's talk about VR. I'm just as excited about it as you are. It's what brought me here. Because initially when I came into VR
That's
chat,
yeah.
I was looking at the headsets, not even VR chat. I was like, wow, this looks dope. Because I remember back when I was a kid, a friend of mine had this really old VR headset, like early 2000s. It's like a really bulky, giant thing. And you threw ninja stars at ninjas. It was like 8-bit kind of looking thing. And you just threw
Oh, that's
ninja stars.
cool.
And I was like, as I got older and had adult money, I was like, this is the sickest thing I've ever seen. And I came in here. And I've been excited since. I'm like a kid in a candy store visiting worlds a lot of the time. Like, you'll lose me sometimes. So I'm like hopping worlds or seeing things people have made. I was like, ooh, this is cool and this is cool. And I just off I go, just excited.
Oh yeah, no. What brought me into VR honestly was just the fact that my brother asked for a Quest for Christmas, and I never thought about VR that much. Like I knew it had existed. Honestly, thinking back on it, it's more VR has always was like a mixed thing within me. Like I knew VR chat existed. I knew VR existed back when the Ugandan Knuckles happened. I think that was 2016 or something. Like I was in middle school when that happened. I remember like that's pretty funny. I kind of like what this is, but I saw it and then it kind of left because it didn't stick with me for a while. And then one of my friends had a PlayStation VR, so I got to try Super Hot and I think Beat Saber once or twice. But that was about it. And so I never really thought of it that much. I knew Beat Saber existed. I knew Super Hot existed. I knew VR Chat existed. I think if I remember, that's all I could. That's all I knew what it was. And so when my brother got a Quest, the first thing we did was play Beat Saber because that's what we wanted to do. It was a lot of fun, and with that, I was like, "Hey, wait, VR chat exists. What if I give this a try?" And I am very socially awkward, so my first time was just like, where am I? What is this? I went I went to the Avatar 3. I went through like the Avatar worlds trying to figure out like what avatar I wanted to wear. I went to the Avatar 3.0 hub, the blue world, which is now with the Fizzbone stuff. And I made some of my first friends there. We played Among Us, funny enough. First day in VR and you're playing Among Us. But I found it fun. It was a lot of fun. I realized that I could just really express myself a lot more within here than I really could in real life. And with that, like I was always on that quest. My brother never played it in the first place, but I was always on it. To the point my mom was like, "Why are you always on your brother's quest?" I'm like, "He's not using it. If he wants it, he can like take it from me. It's his quest. Like I don't know what you want from me." And with that, I had a job then. And I was like, you know what? Just to get her to just stop asking me this, I'll buy my own Quest. I'm not going to use it a whole lot. Just a 64 gigabyte, just VR chat and Beat Saber. That's all I need on it, honestly. And I was on it every night. After school, after homework, I was on it. It was the time of my life because I didn't have a computer then. I had an Xbox, and so I played games with my friends on Xbox, and then I'd get on the Quest. And there is a night that I will always remember where I met some of my first friends that if that night probably didn't happen, I probably would not be playing VR chat, honestly. It's just something just I always think of it as, if so and so didn't happen, like, would you be here today? Kind of that domino butterfly effect. Like, I always ask people that sometimes too, be like if you didn't meet that one person, or you didn't decide to get on that day, what would happen? Frankly, I wouldn't be here.
Funny enough.
And I know that for a fact.
Funny enough, Metaverse Degen is a very similar story. If I never met a person named Lolly Police, I wouldn't have met him, and this channel wouldn't exist. Because this whole thing was his idea.
What are you talking about? It was a ticket going through a bus terminal. I bumped into you. Oh, sorry, sir. I didn't mean to knock your suitcase down. I'm sorry.
Yo.
Well, it would have been his suitcase, literally, because I bump into everything. So,
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah,
though.
I would. Yeah, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here in this specific moment if I didn't go to the TVRS Film Festival, which is the day where I, one, offered Fia to take photos, and two, met a friend that then tried to get a bunch of just a bunch of VTubers or VR chat people together. And I wouldn't have met people like him, some other creators, Shopao, who you recently interviewed. Like, I wouldn't be here without that. And even with that, I always think to myself, if I didn't like show up these days, like, I wouldn't meet some of my like most good friends. There was a Patreon meetup I went to a year ago now, for Fia, and if I didn't go that one night, because it was ending, I wouldn't have met one of my closest friends, who later we were so close together. We're like, VR talk is like everything, because we knew we both liked VR, we both like Thrill and Fia, like we hit it off, and so we're like, you know what if we do a podcast? Much like how you guys started, like, what if we do a podcast? And that was always in the back of our head, just like, what if, like, because you could do that, like, it's not hard. Well, I guess it's hard for me because I can't fucking do anything, but it was just in the back of the head. And well, we tried, actually. We tried, we both got together and we're like, it's been almost a year, we need to like kick this off because there's a lot to talk about. And probably like a week or so before Friday, we recorded our first episode, and it has yet to be uploaded because, first we tried finding someone to edit it, because me and him just didn't have the time ourselves to edit it in general. And that didn't go through because his friend just decided not to edit anymore. And so both episode 1 and 2 were just sitting right now on my external drive, because as I started my semester again, I have an hour before class, and so I said to myself, I can use that time to, 1, edit photos, 2, finish any homework that I needed to finish, and if not, finally start putting together that podcast. Finally start doing something, edit my own clips. Like, I have so much time. It's I was like, ugh. I've been behind on a lot of my stuff within here.
It's a-okay. One of the great things is time. You can always get back to it and do it again. One of the things I always try to encourage people to do is, if you want to do the podcast, I'd say do the podcast. If you want help, let me know. I'll help you the best I can. I do that with most people. If you want to do it, I say fucking do it. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Do it. Worst comes to worst,
you
don't like how it looks and you decide not to. Or it could be a big fruitful thing. Who knows?
Yeah, we are hoping to have it just branch out, because I mean, a lot of the stuff we kind of talked about is a little outdated, but that doesn't matter. Honestly now I could probably get it updated, put it together and post and be like, yeah, episode 1. I have to contact the person. We were looking for a logo for that. Like, we've been trying it for a while. Because we wanted to go just above and beyond with it, honestly.
Hmm.
And what you're doing here is very simple, and I love how simple it is, because you don't do a lot of editing for this, do you?
No, I don't. I like the natural conversational feel
no.
to it. It's not that I don't want people to like it to look good, but I much prefer it to look like a natural
Yeah.
conversation. If it's edited, it's obvious like there's a bunch of stuff missing. The ahs and ums and the moments, whether it may be boring sometimes, but it could be funny. But you'll know the person a little better, at least from my perspective. Because I rewatch all my own stuff. Like I do throw in together a little bit of an intro and the outro and stuff, so I do rewatch the whole video. And the way I try and edit it is by conversational. Like how can I do better? If a person acts this way, they could be stressed out, so maybe try and ease up a bit, or push into it a little bit, or whatever. And that's how I analyze it. I don't edit it out. If I say something stupid, I'm gonna leave the stupid thing in because it was part of the conversation.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't do much editing it at all. He usually just throws me under the bus at the beginning if he ever paid attention, and I love it.
I have noticed that.
It's great, you know. We go, he go, hey, guess what I did? And I go, oh, crap, here it goes. What'd you do? Oh, I put you in this part in the beginning. Where? Where the hell were you talking? Huh? What? Oh shit, I did that. Oh crap. Oh,
Well,
it actually makes it worthwhile.
To be fair, you give me a lot of stuff to work with, I guess is a way to put into it. If you don't, yeah, I'm not gonna really give excuses, but I have a lot of stuff with it. I laugh hysterically. It's just as much my fault as it is your fault.
Put in your pockets, or you just want to wait until later until you go swimming?
Oh, that's half the fun, though.
Honestly, though, I don't plan to do a lot of edits to it. Like, it's honestly just simple stuff that I could get done within the hour. Cause all it is, we have 3 camera angles. We both decided to record our audio, and with that, our point of views. But I also have a second point of view that actually looks at us both. I made a separate account, and my computer did not like me because of it. To get that angle up and going, it was a pain because one, I have to run Steam for my actual VR stuff, and then I have to run Oculus so I can put Vrchat in desktop mode, get that account on, and record nicely. With that have been some issues. I have blue screened. I have lost audio both times.
Oh, we don't have that problem. We never have that problem. Him out going, guess what? We got to do the video again. Why? You can't hear me. I forgot to turn my side on. Oh, shit. Yeah, it happens.
No.
It just goes, that's just the way it goes. That or both of us freeze and he gets stuck in a position where I sound like, like I'm having an anxiety issue, and all it is my headgear. Right now, I'm not even on my headgear because I have 2 kids that are playing 2 high-dollar games, and it lags the shit out of me. So I got to be a stiffy to do this.
Yeah, there's been many a times where I've had similar issues to what you're describing. One of my favorites was we were talking with a gentleman, and we were like 45 minutes to 50 minutes into the video, and I realized my mic was not turned on in OBS. So we went through an entire hour of a conversation, and half of it's just gone.
Oh, God. God, it's not even, it's honestly, it's not even that I had issues with. It's just...
Edit it going off of what the person's saying, and he turned around, put in something, no matter what it is, making no sense at all. Knowing the lips don't match, it'd be like going, "Oh, Godzilla." Yeah, right.
Gojira.
Yeah, that'd be great. Godzilla. Yeah. Wow, he said 6 words, didn't he? All you got out of it was Godzilla. Well, that's great. Yeah, it happens. That's the biggest thing. It just happens.
Yeah.
It makes it worthwhile. That's what makes the whole shebang.
It's those moments that help you learn a lot of the time. And there's a really simple way for you to do the multi-camera angle like what we do. We use the VRChat camera pins. And if you only want 3, you just go to pins and you could dance between them and you could set them to the world. So instead of... The only downside is it records from your position. no matter where the camera is. So if it's like where you are, if you're over there,
Yeah.
you will only hear what the camera sees based on where you are. But there
I
is an
know
easy way
that's
to do that.
that's the one thing I hate about VR chat, and I could not stress enough how much easier that could be while streaming. Oh, it is such a pain. Honestly, I haven't had that issue where like my mic's not toggled. The audio issue I'm describing is the fact that VR chat on my Steam version will just cut all audio.
Oh.
I could not hear my friend, and so I have to go into my sound settings and then turn on the the Oculus version because that one still has audio. so so instead of hearing my friend head on, I hear him in my right ear. And we get around it, and we recorded our 2 episodes in the Great Pug, mainly because we call it the VR booth podcast, the virtual reality booth podcast. I can't remember, but somewhere around there. So we were like, okay, we need to record it within a booth, and so that's what we did. We went to the Great Pug, and we got the idea for booth is because we both have avatars from booth. So a little plays in hand there. But so I will lose audio in this VR chat, but my second account still has audio. So I'll turn that on, and then I hear him from my right. And so it doesn't affect anything because, like I said, we both record and it's our inputs. We don't record any audio of each other because that would be a pain, first of all. And overlapping, that would suck. But the one thing I remember is just when it happened, I go into the second account, enable the audio, and all I hear is the phone ring from the entrance of the pug, and I slowly go crazy during the whole thing as I am constantly hearing that going on in the background, and I couldn't. We were so well into our conversation that I could not change the. I could not. I could not mute the world. I was slowly going crazy. But it's the issues that you deal with, and I wish the VR chat camera could actually take sound in.
Yeah.
Because I stream, and especially even if you watch a VR chat stream, like you've got the camera facing you, and then the camera shows someone on your left, but it sounds like they're coming in from the right ear. That it messes with you, and even while I'm watching like VR chat content too, like it messes with me. To the point, one time I streamed, I just reversed OBS. Like I made it have the person who's on my right for audio. Like it just made sense.
I believe you.
So that the stream could hear it pretty well.
With stuff like that, I believe you should be able to set it to mono, which instead of being stereo, which is per ear, it'll have whatever sound you have in all. It'll be uniform. You won't have like the dynamic, they're on the left, they're on the right. It's just both ears. So there's that if you wish to do that. Although it's not going to sound probably as good.
No, it doesn't. Even then, just running that through Voicemeeter, it's like, ugh, where's my good sound?
Well, again, a lot of this stuff is a learning curve. I learn best when I fail. So at least that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember like, oh, I should probably make sure my mic is on if I don't like go 45 minutes in a conversation with no mic. I don't forget now. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lie. I forgot.
I'm the one over here going, hey, Elijah, does your mic work? Yes, be quiet. It's working. Are you sure? Are you sure?
The one thing that'll make a lot of that stuff easier too is like if things are optimized well enough where you won't like lag or crash. Because there's been a couple of times like we did a video with a old friend of ours named White Strelitzia, the first one. And midway through, I was making a joke, and because of the whole legs in the air bit, and then halfway through, I freeze that way. And you could hear those two making fucking wisecracks while I'm frozen, just legs in the air, like a fucking dart.
Oh, we were having a field day. It didn't stop. All of a sudden, he comes back and he goes, it's not there. And I go, well, that's okay. We don't mind, but well, too bad you didn't have the camera on this side. Sooner or later, it's going to be where he's going to teach me more so I can run a single camera. No matter what, that's, just in front of me. Because when something goes wrong and we're over here making wisecracks when somebody else leaves, yeah, it's going to be great. Oh, yeah, we're always, if it ain't me screwing up, it's usually him. But that's, like Lion says, that's what makes the broadcast, because we shoot from the hip, just like he says. And it's just probably the same way when you're taking photographs. You're shooting from the hip because you don't know what you're going to catch. And that's a problem. Because I wanted to do that when I was in art class, when I was in college painting. I was doing body work for painting cars and everything else like this. And I had a choice between taking an art class or photography. I can't even say it without fucking. And everything else like this. But you can take where you were talking about, there you go, I can't draw a straight line, blah, blah, blah. Actually, you get technical. You can actually take pictures and do a layover and completely change surroundings just by taking it. It's not that hard.
Yeah, you could.
Yes, you can.
especially within here, honestly. With the camera has a feature to take different layers. So you can have the background, yourself. I don't remember all of it, but you can split it into layers. And so if you wanted to, you could take a photo of yourself in some world and use that layer feature, and then go into Photoshop, throw that layer onto a different one from a different world. There you go. It might not look as good, but hey, it gets the job done. I've even tried doing that for not for photo's sake, but for trying to get back into making TikToks in general. And because I didn't want to just have myself there, and if I needed to cut somewhere, like it goes away. Like I wanted to be in a green screen so that like I'm still there in the background, because I'm sure you go on TikTok and you see a bunch of people with green screens. The one person that I thought of it from, Johnny Razor, if you've ever heard of him on TikTok or Shorts, he's pretty funny. He makes some
Johnny is one hell of a card. And he's damn good at what he does. I've seen his stuff. He's good, yes.
Yeah.
He does off the wall, and most of it, the way he throws it, not to interrupt, it's his artistic work. He knows. You can't tell me that he's not using a blue screen or a green screen behind him while he's talking to people and when he's broadcasting at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I've done it. Excuse me. I've looked at some of his videos going, where is that at? I want to see that. And some of it you ain't going to find, because it's something that he's created and just do as a background. It's unreal. It's just unreal.
Yeah, it's pretty great. The Vrchat TikTok scene is kind of weird though, honestly.
Yeah, it's a little horny too. Like I know a few TikTok Vrchat TikTokers, and have friends who do that, and like one of them started off one way and then straight off into the horny scene. It's like just thirst talk. The Vrchat's TikTok scene.
God, the issue with that is that that's what does well.
Yeah,
like that's weird, the issue. Because I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you try to stay away from that no matter what you are, just like us. We try to stay away from certain fields. That's whoops, nope, don't play there. It's like going, hey, Bob, can I play in the sandbox? Yeah, it's okay. About 6 cats have played in it. Yeah, you try to stay out of the mindset, no matter which way you look at it. And like I said, it's one of those things that it's a line, just like you've got a line even in TikTok or anything like this. You hope, and you stand there and the way I look at it is, you probably look at it just going, why, why, why is it that way? Why? Forget it. There is no why. You just open up the window and watch it go out the window, because that's what people want. They want, and sometimes you just can't give it to them, knowing that you want those. And if you're looking, like me and Line say, if you're looking at trying to get the people to look at your views and stuff like this, me and Lion look at it completely different. If we get one person look, that's all it matters. We don't care. One. It's not the numbers. It's just to have that one person say, "Hey, I like what you did," and that makes more than, like they say, 50% of something is better than 50% of nothing. One is that 50.
Well, that, and you also kind of garner the views of how you make your content. Like if you're going for thirst talks just for views, you're not going to get the same quality of viewer as if you're to do other things. Like we're still new, like 2 years in, so Fia and Thrill Seeker, who do their own videos, probably understand this a lot more than I do. But the way I see it is, it's just like a hobby I could share. If we get views, great. If not, I had fun. I got to meet some cool people, learn some cool stuff. That in itself is good enough for me. But the whole thirst talk thing,
definitely.
I don't understand it. Not at all.
Yeah, no, the not safe for work scene is insane. Especially because Vrchat, you can create whatever you want to create. So it's popular, and I see fairly few actual good content creators from TikTok. The main ones that really stick to mind are Kiwi, Tay from Canada. There's some other ones that I follow. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I occasionally see them. And you've got I view it as like two sides. You've got your actual creative side. That's where you have Kiwi, Kiwi Spewy. There's some others that I don't know why Kiwi's the only one that I can think of, but there's a ton more that make amazing content. But then you've also got just your random chaos side. Tay from Canada is one of them, where they just record their play sessions, and you just watch the chaos ensue. It's pretty funny, honestly. Even back like a year ago, their older videos, it just brings me back to my own chaos times within here, because I've had a lot of them.
Okay, so I'll ask you a fun question. What is your most memorable and or first true Vrchat moment? And I'll give you an example of my first moment to give you a hint. An idea is, one of the first games I played was Murder 4. I didn't know what it was. I went into it. First lobby was a lobby filled with squeakers, and my first experience was a bunch of squeakers huddled in a lobby and eager avatars moaning Oni-chan, and I tried noping the fuck out of there as fast as I could. That was my first true Vrchat moment.
Yeah.
So, what is yours?
That's also what I fear for that's what I fear about new people coming in. Like, they see that and it's like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Like, nah. I'm not gonna deal with that. And it's gotten to the point where I even don't go to Publix anymore, because I've got this friend group. I've got good friends. Like, why deal with that? But I can split that first memory into two things. A core memory is a night where I met a couple of friends where we played Cards Against Humanity. And that I view as one of my best early nights back when I was on my quest. It was a lot of fun. I met great people. I always think back to that night. Sometime later, I met a new friend, and if for chaos, that's what I think, because I met them, and then we played Uno. And Uno is always chaos. So I can easily lay out how it went. It was me and a friend, and then they had another friend that was with them that they just met. So it was us three playing Uno. This other friend was mute, and that comes into play later. So as we're playing, it's a long game, and so we always laugh back at it because I'm trying my best to just get the hell done with it and try to win, while my friend here is selling her soul to the devil, trying to screw me over. And then I'm over here drawing a card or having a card that works so well, and the plan just unfolds to my favor. And then at the end, it eventually does play in my favor. And and then we hear the other one talk. And he was like, I've been muted. The quest muted me within the system. And we started dying laughing. Because he was muted the entire time, trying to talk. He was so confused on why it wasn't happening. And then just finally, the quest muted me. Oh, I always laugh back at that. I always bring it up to my friend and be like, this is a night that I want to relive. And I have a lot of those nights that I like to relive too. More recently, I went to a party, and we just vibed. There was just a pop-up party. There was people playing, they were DJing, and there were a bunch of people drinking. I don't drink. I'm not allowed to drink yet. So I was just vibing, hanging out with some friends that I met recently. And so later that night, before I had to go to bed, we played cup pong. It was a 4-way cup pong with teams of 3 to 4. And it was so painful. Everyone was just trying to get the cups. They went to the point where one team had won. They all huddled together trying to cover up the cup. We're all aiming for them. There were truce, there was treaties. Like, it was so much fun.
You know, you mentioning that brought me back to a memory with these guys. Our friend group, we end up calling the Curse Crew out of, like, not because you're horrible people, it's just like a random name we came up with that stuck. One of our friends is a Canadian. She's very competitive. We thought, let's make her play. Let's make her play Super VR Ball. And we recorded it. And it ended up on the channel.
No.
She spent the entire time, you could hear, from my perspective, every once in a while, her come by and she's swearing up a storm, like cursing God's name as she has to play the game. She'll curse like Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool. Then she talk about how like mental disorder and the psychologist is an asshole and blah, blah. She's trying to succeed to the best of her ability. And midway through one of them, she tells us she's going to send us hateful Christmas cards. It was the most funniest thing I could ever remember with a friend group, was just listening to this short, peaceful, friendly, loving woman turn into something else for like 3 hours straight, non-stop, just screaming, or not really screaming, but swearing, getting angry. It was hilarious. And then afterwards, she apologized for it. It was funny.
That's great. I would record my times within here, but my computer would not like me most of the time. Just because of the worlds I go to and all that. It's like, beautiful world or something like that, we're gonna cut you're gonna cut your time. Like, your frame rate is gonna suck. You're gonna have an amazing time lagging at like 19, 15 frames. It's like, that's not the new, but like, and it's just a pain. I've tried doing that before, and I've gotten some funny stuff out of it. But I also want to actually live that within the stream too, so that whatever something funny happens, that can immediately be clipped. And that's happened to me a couple of times, which is pretty great. But I've also tried doing that within just normal creation with as well. If you ever find yourself within like photography TikTok or any form over there, especially like car photography, there are some people that will like strap a GoPro to their chest, and you can watch them take the photo, and then they'll throw an edited version above it. I tried doing that. I haven't even tried putting it together. I think I actually deleted the videos because it was not, one, it was just not a good session, and two, very boring, honestly. Like I can, if I had like a actual photo shoot that I was doing and I wanted to do that, maybe, yeah. But it's a cool concept that you see within real life and with like just photography in general. They take a photo, you see the edit, but you don't see it anywhere within VRChat. You actually don't see any photography creation within VRChat on video platforms like TikTok or YouTube Shorts. I have never seen it, and so I really don't think there is, because it's an image. You just post it on like Twitter and Instagram, or a dead one, Threads, because Threads is dying. But I've tried doing it because I know you can post photos on TikTok. So I've tried it before, and it does mediocre well, 200 views. But then again, I don't get a lot of views in the first place. I am only in the position where I am in TikTok because of EAC, honestly. Because I was wanting to get into TikTok, and as that happened, I was like, this might be a good time, baiting it a little. It's flowing everywhere, so I'm bound to be thrown within the VRChat algorithm on TikTok, so let's do it. So one of my first posts is just me talking about my stance on it, and then that did well overnight. I think it's got like maybe 1,000 views or something. So I was like, okay, good. We'll keep doing something like this. So I tried doing just normal creation skits, and then VRChat started doing the open beta updates, and that's where I really hit it off. Because what I would do is just inform people what is happening within these open betas, and I haven't done it in a while because there's not a lot of betas out there anymore.
There's one right now.
Like the most recent beta is for Unity. Yeah, that's about it. But there's not really much I can talk about. Honestly, I could make a short video being like, hey, if you're a VRChat Plus subscriber, you got custom UI colors. Cool.
Well,
but
you could go talk to some world builders
from
who's
doing those,
working in the beta, and then ask them what kinds of things the new engine will allow you to do. And it's like, oh, hey, the new engine will allow world builders to do X, Y, and Z. You can optimize better because of X, Y, and Z, and new colors for your UI. Because I do know there's a lot of stuff in that realm for the new engine. We got to talk with Par and Shopo a little bit about that, which was interesting to hear.
Yeah.
The new engine will allow you to do those things.
Yeah, I'm friends with both of them, funny enough. Also funny enough, I'm gonna sell myself out there a little bit. So while I was watching the video on Shopal, he mentioned a friend with over a 300 megabyte avatar. That friend is me. Obviously, this one isn't it. This is a more optimized model. I threw a bunch of outfits together and made this. But no, that friend is me. Because another friend of mine was like, hey, there's this VRChat wardrobe that like you can put like a bunch of outfits together and all that stuff. Like, cool. I proceeded to throw a bunch of outfits on it. And back then, with all the stuff I had on it, I was close to 300 megabytes. It was not okay. So everyone played the game of like, oh, how long is it gonna take to load Yama? And I'm like, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm working on it. And then I eventually removed outfits, I cut it down, and then I made this a more optimized model. I also made this one actually optimized. It looks horrible. It's missing like the thigh highs, the thing here, and the glasses. So I can hit under that 70,000 polygon count for VRChat, so that I can wear it to events and clubs. because you can't wear this there.
You know, I have a funny memory that you mentioning can't go to VR clubs and 100 thing. One of the older versions of the avatar I would regularly use, which is a edited Foxy model. And a friend of mine who works in Unity, he has a very trollish sense of humor. He was helping me try and optimize it a bit. And his first thoughts was, we should give you an intro. And then it started with, we're going to give you an explosion. And then the explosion turned to, it's going to be neon green. We're going to make everyone look at the explosion, force perspective change. Now it's going to be loud. And I forgot it was on the avatar. I then went to an event I was invited to.
No.
Forgetting I was in the introed version of my avatar. The entire world lagged. I had the entire security staff for the event rush up to me thinking I'm some sort of crasher. I'm just being 3 brain celled here, forgetting I should change my avatar before going. No, I almost crashed the entire event and ruined it accidentally just because I forgot I was in the wrong avatar at the time.
Oh my god.
That avatar doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist. I got rid of it. It's a little too toxic. It was one of those haha funny moments where sitting in Unity going schizo on things that made us laugh, and then that abomination happened.
I've always wanted to make just meme avatars in general. Mainly like how Moon why can't I remember his name? I literally just saw him. Moon, an old one, Shiro. I can't remember his name. He had the clown face. Why can't I remember his name?
I know you're talking about too.
I'm gonna find this out. I can't. Yeah.
I know you're talking about. I haven't seen his content in a little while. I'm gonna seem like a bit of a jerk here, but I don't watch a lot of streamer content or VR chat content. Yeah,
that's totally fair.
Yeah, between Metaverse Degen, my day job and everything else, I don't have a lot of time to do that. I'd like to, but I've seen his content. Lolathon, there we go. I remembered it.
Lolathon, yes. Yeah, I don't watch him that much. I haven't watched Moon in a while. Just actual VR chat creators I do watch mainly is mainly Chris Quits Reality, because he instead of doing like VR chat memes like Lolathon and Moon, he does stunts. He does funny stuff in real life and portrays them within VR chat, and it's pretty funny to watch, honestly.
I think some of the stuff I've seen a little bit of Lolathons. I've seen Fia's content. I've seen a little bit of Rafflegator, but that's like a couple of videos.
I see him on TikTok.
And then what was the last one? Tortle's Twitter Spaces events. I've been to a few of those listening.
Yeah, I have too. I was a speaker in one of them a couple of them ago when they were talking about the community update within the terms of service. Because we got on a part of like talking about streaming. I was like, I could talk about something about that, so I went on and talked about it for a little bit.
I do like Tortle's Twitter Spaces content. There's not a whole lot of like VR chat podcast content, for example. There are some within like live format within VR chat, but in terms of like long form speaking content for VR chat, there isn't a whole lot. So when he does the Twitter Spaces, it allows a lot of people who wouldn't normally sit down for something like that to like have a say in something, which is nice.
Yeah,
it's like a community conversation, so a lot of people get to, whether it's like the VR chat creator economy thing or clubs or whatever he's talking about. It's nice that that space is available for people.
Yeah, especially if like some people can't watch something like right away. Just load up Twitter, put it in your pocket, put a headphone in, there you go.
Yeah,
you're listening in.
It is. I wish I saw a little bit more of the regular VR chat content though, but sadly enough, the amount of time I have available to that is not much. I can do podcasts while I work and stuff. Easy, very easy. But like sit down and watch a stream or see moments, I'm going to miss a whole lot of stuff. So I don't.
Yeah.
I can't. Really.
I couldn't. I don't watch many VRChat streams. Funny enough, as I do VRChat streams, but I don't watch a lot. I don't watch a lot of streaming in general. I just mainly take in my content from either YouTube or TikTok. Is really just where I get my stuff, and even then, I haven't been watching a lot of VRChat content recently. Besides like Thrill and Fia. That's kind of about it though. Other than that, I get my daily dose of some VRChat meme from TikTok, and it's like, hey, good. Get that every once in a while.
I don't do a lot of VRChat content, but I have trained my Google News feed to show me new VR metaverse content, which is really nice to see. It's like, oh hey, there's this really niche cryptocurrency space going around, and here's it at. Or VRChat, there's a VRChat spicy influencer who got denied entry to the U.S. due to the fact that she does that stuff for money. It was considered prostitution in U.S. law or something. Stuff like that.
Right, I remember hearing about that. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. It's pretty funny.
It is funny, though. It's also technically kind of true. If you sell that stuff for money, you technically are doing that. So if you're denied entry, you kind of did it to yourself, not to sound like an ass, but yeah, kind of did it yourself.
Then again, people also do it within the state, so why aren't they held liable? It's weird though how we're now taking a account for VR in general, because in reality, if you're doing that within like a VRChat or chill out, it's not really you, but again, like it also goes on that path. So it's weird how they're looking at this, and it's always going to be weird on how companies or the government views VR in general and how we use it.
Although there is some interest from the U.S. government about it. Like, for example, in the military aspects of VR headsets, I've seen a bunch of articles from like the military news about how they're trying out augmented reality with soldiers in the front line, or there's parts of the military doing research and building a metaverse themselves, made by the same people who developed the internet, which I'm curious and excited to see what that is, but also not, because first the U.S. military kind of created the internet, and then if they work on the metaverse, will it be as big as the internet? Will it be good?
Yeah, who knows? I think the main thing that I hope VR stays is that it's community driven. It's not ran by high corporations and all of that. VRChat itself, same with Chill Out and Neos and Rec Room, they are social platforms, much like Twitter, Instagram, etc. They're social VR platforms, and I really don't want to see this become like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc., where you've got these high corporations just kind of ruining it, and Meta sort of doing that with
Horizon
the
Worlds.
Quest and all that.
Though,
yeah, it's like
the VR
it's
space,
so bad because recently they've
in the VR space, Horizon Worlds isn't succeeding, and it's because of the lack of
it's not
creativity. Because you go in there, it's very bland, but places like VRChat or Neos is able to retain its viewer base because it's interesting, it's colorful, it's vibrant.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot more you can do within here. I mean, Horizon Worlds is finally implementing legs.
VRChat,
you can't even see your own legs.
It's not like VRChat's had it for a while.
You can see others. Yeah, like we've had this since Vive originally put out the Vive trackers. Like it's been a thing for so long. Like, Meta, what are you doing? And I recently saw something earlier this week about how Roblox is a better metaverse than Meta themselves. Because there's there's Roblox itself is just a great platform. It's got its weird side, but it's a great platform because it's like VRChat on how you have this huge creative thing that you can do, make horror worlds, game worlds, FPSs, or the weirder side, like adopt me things and all that. I don't want to touch that because that's weird. But then again, Roblox is more ran by kids. There's a lot more kids upon that platform. And you can say the same with like Red Room or VRChat. There are a lot of kids, but it's a lot harder for them to access this than they can on Roblox, honestly. So you don't see a whole lot more. Well, besides Rec Room, you will see a lot more kids on there, mainly because you can get that on consoles too. So there is that.
I've had a few friends explain to me the Roblox engine for creation is a lot more easier than VR chats. Badger Blunts, he got into world creation to optimize for Quest. Like that was something he wanted to work towards. And he ended up playing with a Roblox because of his significant other. And he told me about it. And apparently it's really easy to use. Apparently. Not sure.
Yeah, I haven't touched it. I couldn't touch it. I'm not a world person. I'm not. I couldn't. I don't code. I don't put stuff together. I could not do that, honestly. It that is not for me, and I realized that years ago. And because I wanted to originally do like software engineering or something like something like that, because I've always loved games, I loved computers and all that and how it worked. So it would only make sense to go within software engineering, learn coding. My second class of coding, I realized, yeah, no, this ain't for me. Because it's a pain. It can be stressful. It's just way too much. And I know that for a fact because my brother is doing some software stuff as well as physics, and he deals with a lot more stuff than I do. So I am glad I did not go down that route.
Well, at least you got your feet wet in it, so you understand. At least have a grasp of what it is. There's a lot more than most people. Most people won't even
Yeah.
try something. It's like, oh, I feel weird. No,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do this instead, and they don't try it. So, kudos to you for trying it at least.
Yeah. And with that, like, talking about trying things, like the VR itself allows you to try a lot of different things. VR chat itself just allows you to expand upon yourself more. Because I know there's people that have learned themselves how they view themselves, like gender identity and all of that, like they can be themselves, the LGBTQ community, the furry community, like all of that. Like I love everything about it. All has their toxic sides, every community does, but I look past that and I see all of it, and it's like, this is what VR chat is. Why can't we have this in the real world?
Well,
Because sure, I'm a guy wearing a female avatar. Most people would look at that by, like, again, Jesus Christ. Most people would look at that and be like, you're weird. Why would you do that? And my one argument is, show me one good male avatar within this platform, because it does not exist.
yeah, to be honest, most of the
Any
best
avatar
avatars
you
is
see,
either female or furry. Sadly enough, all that's where
yeah,
most of the good avatars are. One of the reasons why I started towards
yeah.
furry avatars. Hell, they're even well better built for full body, weird enough, most furry models.
Yeah, I've always envied the furry community specifically for that, because the Rex avatar and just all their avatars in general are so much more expressive than just a normal humanoid avatar, and I wish I could have that. I I haven't I don't branch out to like furry avatars and all that often. I have one. I more recently got into one because I have face tracking. I was like, I have face tracking. I need an avatar that has face tracking. So a friend of mine who is a furry has eye and mouth tracking. They brought me to a world. I'm like, this is cool. I like it. And so that I was like, you know what? If I am a furry or if I ever do become one, I like how this looks. This is what I feel like I would be. But other than that, like I'd rather be some fox girl on the internet, honestly, because any male avatar that you see is some e-boy or fuckboy that looks so weird. And even then, some of the female avatars that you'll see on like Gumroad, they look so bad. And I don't want to get in too much about it, but my main thing about it is just how it looks, especially around the face, because when you're looking at someone, you're looking at their face. And some of the female avatars don't have a good face structure. It's just not good. At least in my opinion, I don't like it. I try to steer away. I like how I personally love Booth more because you've got these actual, just more toonish, cuter avatars that aren't just thought avatars or anything. Like, sure, I made mine a bit bigger than what the actual model is, but it looks better that way. But oh well.
Well, that's one of the added benefits to VRChat. There's so many different variety of avatars, either good or bad. It's a lot like YouTube, for an example. You get so many people making so many things. Not everything is going to be good. But
Yeah.
you have a variety of options out there, which is a lot of it. Some of it are good, some of it's mediocre, some of it's amazing, but it's the variety is there. You got the e-girls, the e-boys, the
Yeah,
anime
definitely.
girls, anime boys, furries, non-furries, robots. It's all there, various varieties. So there is
Yeah.
a variety of choice for you to be whatever it is you wish to be, which is amazing. It's like VR
Yeah,
chat.
that's what I love about it. Just
It's like
that
the early
variety.
days of the internet, which is amazing. It's like expressive, creative,
Mm.
lots of things happening very frequently. Although it will level out eventually. VR chat's gonna become that point where it's gonna not corporatize, but level off and have a bit more rules. You won't be able to like have those
Yeah.
loot club events anymore. Maybe, maybe not, or it'll be like way deep somewhere in the corners of VR chat. But a lot of those things will just be
Yeah. Uh yeah. I don't think I personally don't think that'll happen anytime in the future. Just because of just how much they love their community and how much they're dedicated to it. Sure, there's like their up and downs, and especially because they have actual overheads that do dictate decisions, and that can suck. But at the end of the day, they do have to follow those, otherwise they can lose a lot of money. But even then, they love their community and they strive for the community to expand. No, I don't want to say no matter what it is because they do have their rules, but yeah.
One of the things I remember, I was tuning into one of Twirtle's Twitter Spaces, and I was like just got out of work, or yeah, I was just getting out of work, driving home, and I was listening in for a bit, and I heard Tupper say something along the lines of, when they come up with the new updates and engines, they usually keep Treehouse in the Shade as a standard of if they've gone too far or something of that nature. That if they are pushing it too far where that world can exist, then that may be too far.
Yeah, that's good.
If I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. I'm always reserve the right to be corrected, which is a lot of the
I I definitely strive for a future where this is our future, because there's a lot that you can do within here. Especially I know a lot of people came on during COVID, and it just allows people to express themselves a lot more. I might not be like right now. It's 9:30. It's dark out. I can't really go out and take photos. and all that. My camera's not. I don't have a full frame camera. I can't really do that. Not enough light. But within here, it's bright as day right now. I could do that right now. I could take a good photo. Like it's just amazing of how this world is. It's amazing of what can and will become with VRChat.
I'm not the opposite opinion, but I'm kind of like the middle of the road. I think there should be moderation between like real life and virtual world. The VR world is the most amazing thing, and I
Yeah.
catch myself losing and sinking hours into exploring. Like I could, as I said in the beginning of the video, I become a very much a kid in a candy store exploring worlds. I'm gone as soon as the
Yeah.
door opens. I'm down the alley. But at the exact same point, there is just as much amazing stuff out in the real world as well. Like for example, one of the things that kind of breaches the two is there's a world called Japan Street, and I believe that's based upon a real world in Japan or a real city in Japan, and you can walk the streets. And after you've done exploring there, why not go see the real place? Compare the two, the VR version.
Yeah, definitely.
And that I think there should be a bit of moderation between the two, because I don't think people should like the future should be like solely digital, because I'm one of those people who enjoys having.
Oh yeah, no.
I enjoy having an expiration date. It enjoys me to have the ability to enjoy life, because there's only so much time too. If you're in the virtual world, like SAO, there's only eventually you'll see everything, and then life's blah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm a huge fan of SAO though. So the day that happens, I am head first within that. Even then, I love Project Eincrad. I'm f- I'm a I'm friends with a couple of the creators over there. I say couple, mainly like one or two. But I love Project Eincrad because it allows you to experience SAO like you couldn't before, honestly. Because as much as I live and strive for the day where we even have full dive technology, let me go explore the damn world. I love the VR chat world, the SAO world. I love everything about it, and especially they play the music from it in there, and so like it really just immerses you within it. It's so beautiful.
I've been there a handful of times, and I enjoy it just as much as you. One of my favorite worlds, though, which is not Ironcrad, is a recreation of Majora's Mask, and it's in process. I'm not sure how far, if they're going to continue or not. It's been in the same area for a while, but you're able to like explore Clocktown, the outer area, the swamp, and a bit of the mountains. I was immediately ported back to my childhood. As soon as I went in the world, right back to I was like early 2000s playing Majora's Mask with my brother immediately. And that will have a special place for me. That one little world that's Majora's Mask. It may never be updated again, but it'll still be there in my upper favorites because of that little nostalgia, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's truly amazing of the amount of worlds that you can create here. SAO, Majora's Mask. I know there's a couple of other games. There was a Zelda one I went to. There's this one world I went to. It is probably one of the most beautiful worlds I've been. I think it's called Long Dream. I could be wrong. Let me check. I think I still have it in here. A Long Dream. It's made by Heartrend. It's a big world, but it's so beautiful. It's got beautiful sunlight. It's got shadows. It's got flowery fields. It's got a nice house. It's got a lake or a pond, whatever it is. But it's got a waterfall. It's got paths that you can travel. It's so beautiful. And I love going there for photo shoots sometimes. I went there one day with a friend and his boyfriend, and I shot some couple portraits for them. And the photos are so beautiful. It is such a beautiful place.
There's a lot.
And what I love about some worlds, what I love about some worlds is that there's a lot of post processing that you can do, and even then, sometimes the post processing does the post processing itself for me. So I can take a photo in like such a beautiful world, it has amazing post processing, and just it looks beautiful. And I don't even have to touch it up because of how beautiful it looks.
One of the things I've noticed that in the newer version of VRChat as last year or so is happening, the dynamic lighting being included into worlds, especially the newer Pyomes and Pyome updates and stuff of that nature, and then the newer Unity, the lighting is amazing. One of the things I very much
Yeah,
enjoy about a lot of the
definitely.
newer worlds, like if you're to go some of the older ones, lighting's very flat. You look very solid color. There's no like shading. There's none of that stuff. In the new ones, you can see shading, like even little pock marks. If an avatar creator didn't like smooth it out, you'll see it, and it's I enjoy. That's one of my favorite bits of the newer updates of VRChat is just that
Yeah.
lighting.
Yeah. Shading and shaders in general just are just beautiful things. I have my own things against Poi. Like, it's a great shader and everything, but to a normal person, it's way too complicated of a shader. My avatar is full Lil Tune. I love the look of Lil Tune. It just gives it a better feel.
Mm. Well,
Sure, I don't have that huge creative and that huge creativity that Poi would allow me, but you don't need that.
well,
You really don't.
to be fair, with the amount of shader options out there, I think Poi is more there for the more advanced people, and it's one of the things
Yeah,
you
definitely.
work towards eventually. Like, to be fair, in the couple of times I've touched avatar creation, which isn't much, I'm not good at it, but I use Poi. It's just it's what I know. I can maneuver it a little easier than I can most others.
Yeah.
But the options are out there for you to use whatever it is, whether it's the tune you use or the VRChat mobile shader, which is getting better, and then Poi and
Yeah, I'm
lots of the
surprised at
others.
what they're doing with that.
I have noticed in what.
The main shaders that I know are go on.
Oh, sorry. What I've noticed with the newer updates to the VRChat SDK shaders is that a lot of the options, like metallic, for example, is now included. So it's very easy when
Hmm.
you optimize for mobile now to go to the tune shaders, and a lot of those metallic and all of that stuff is included to it. So it's very easy to switch over if you know what you're doing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I recently with the optimized model I made for this, I I made a quest compatible too. And I realized that they now have emissions. I don't know how more recent that is, but that you can have emissions on the quest now or something like that. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll put some emissions on that. On the only downside is that you can only have one emission mask, and this model itself. Sorry, I need water or something. The hair uses two, and the jacket down here uses two. Just because I did not want to merge the two emission masks together and everything. Uh,
Mm.
Also because of the fact that they both use different emissions. Like anything gold that you see on me, that glows yellow with audio link. But with like over here, I have the virtual reality show logo and
Yeah.
the Schism logo. Those glow white,
I'll move
so
the
they
camera
they
to
have
see
to
it.
be separate.
Okay, I see it now.
Even the Schism logo up here, it's a little crunched, but it also glows white.
Mm.
But it just allows me to do all of that, and sadly I can't have that on the mobile version. But oh well. But I know that three main shaders, or I guess four, are Poi, Liltoon, Unity Chan, and Mochi. Mochi makes
Mm.
shaders. Uh, Mochi is more known with world shaders, uh, with like glass and water or something like that. From what I've seen, I can't remember,
Mm.
but yeah. Oh no, there's a shader. If there's any Destiny person, if they know what the Taken look like, there is a Taken shader that Mochi made. I put it on an avatar. I can show it real quick. I've been thinking about throwing it onto a different avatar too. Where is it? But it's a really cool shader. If I load in. But it looks really cool.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. That's a I've seen that shader around in a few places. It's a really well done.
Yeah.
Mm.
My main reason for getting it was I saw this creator. She had it on her avatar.
Mm.
I've got the funny mouth thing. Oh no.
The funny mouth thing.
So with mouth tracking, if I switch into my model with my mouth open, it just registers the mouth open. So when you scroll through and in the video, during this part, you'll see my mouth was probably open for a little bit when I wasn't talking. But yeah, I saw a creator using that. I was like, that's a cool avatar. I need to find out what that shader is because I want to use it, and I hope I still have it. I think I still have it, but it was such a cool shader.
Mm. Whoever works on shaders, I think, really deserve a medal due to a lot of the cool stuff people are doing with them,
Yeah.
especially when they code their own. It's just fantastic to see all the cool uses of the shaders and all of everything in that matter. Mm.
Yeah, definitely.
I believe
It makes up a lot of this.
it does. And especially with some of the newer updates to some of them, especially with the newer VRChat updates as well, a lot of the worlds is looking a whole lot more realistic. It's sometimes it doesn't take a whole lot for it to look realistic. It's just like a little bit of shine in some places and a little bit of flat or whatever, and it looks so much better. Like I believe with the new with like
Yeah,
19.4 came out, I spent like 3 hours just exploring worlds,
yeah.
seeing how they look different.
Yeah. I always see on photo Twitter for VR chat the worlds people go to, and I see the most realistic worlds. And I'm like, how does that exist? Like that looks so real. It's insane.
There's a
I
lot.
think I've had my fair share of exploring there, but yeah.
One of the most realistic worlds I found through photo Twitter. Necromance, I believe, is the photographer. I found it through them, which is a laundromat, and it looks so bloody realistic.
I think I know what you're talking about. Do I even still have it? I don't know if I do. I think I got. Oh, I probably can find it somewhere, honestly. Oh no, isn't it in my? I have me being a photographer. I have a lot of worlds that I want to go to. So one, my favorite worlds are constantly full. Two, I used to have two browsers full to the brim of worlds I want to go to, so I hardly ever open like Opera or Brave because I save tabs, and I'll just lag immediately because it's trying to load all that. So I load Firefox by default because it just resets it. And three, I have a bookmark of tens of a lot of worlds that I've either been to or want to go to, and it's truly something. I don't know if I have it saved. Is this it? Don't tell me I got it first. No, that's not it. I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah, there's just a lot of more realistic worlds that you can go to. There's a lot of pretty worlds too. Some of the creators that I can think of are like Nine's one of them. Where is that? Where is another one that I've been to recently? XLXXL. They make some pretty worlds. Let's see. Oh God, I know a couple of them. Why can't I find them? A couple of worlds that I do go to. If there's anyone that wants worlds to go to or just see what people have what photos people have taken, there are two worlds that I constantly go to that are updated monthly, and they showcase I'm guessing top photos, their best photos that they took within that month, and then the world they shot them in. And it's just they are really good photographers too. They're very pretty.
Are they with the Ancients of Vrchat?
I don't
'Cause
know.
I
I
believe.
could easily find out though.
Well, I can get you the name of the person.
One of them isn't. One of them's more. One of them's I think Japanese. Where's that other one that I
maybe.
just saw? It's probably in my updated favorites.
Yeah.
There's that one.
Because we.
Yeah.
There's a world
This
done
one's
with
Japanese as well.
done by Ancients of Vrchat, and the person who did a world that's like that, a photography world that's updated monthly, is done by Dangleberry, and that's
Oh, I know Dangle. I didn't know he did that.
yeah. If you were to go to Dangleberry's profile, and then scroll down, you'll see a world on he did that is a Ancients of Vrchat photo gallery, and it does that as well. It will show you the name of the photo and then the world it was taken in. There's like two right now, and I think Ancients of Vrchat does a like a photo competition of sorts, and they are up. It's updated recently. It's like fairly new, and I think will be updated as well.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna have to give that a look, definitely, because it's in labs too. It must be new or something.
Yeah, we had a
Until it reaches 6 galleries. That's cool.
yeah. Dangleberry was telling us about that. By the time this releases, the video would be out. Shout out to Dangleberry as well. Also, Necromance on Twitter. A lot of our worlds we use is because of your photos. They're amazing. Not gonna lie, I do scroll through Twitter and check out worlds people have posted in the photos. I'll also go through the new tab and then
Yeah.
update it as well. And I'll just world hop just to see what stuff out there, what will look good. Like this one I found through Necromance's photos. I thought it looked amazing, and now we're doing a video of one now. It's amazing. A lot of the photos you guys take.
I go I go through photo Twitter and see the beautiful worlds, and I'm the same way. I branch off of them. I take those worlds and I steal from them, like, because I also want to take photos there. But we all take photos of the same place. I wish I can get to know them, honestly. One thing I do though is like I branch my photos differently, especially within the more event scenes. I personally so like if you ever go to an event like FIA's TVRS events or like club or something, I haven't really posted my club photos, but mainly with TVRS, or if you go to any event, obviously you have the drone on the camera and you can fly that anywhere up close to someone's face and get a photo. I do the opposite. I have an invisible avatar and I just get as close as possible. I don't go on stage or anything like that. I generally it's like just at the if you've ever been to the virtual reality show studio, there are two different areas that we're mainly at. It's the theater and the talk show room. The talk show room has a pane of glass that obviously blocks, and because it goes up and down to the talk show, and then there's a musical part underneath. We used that during the Naku experience, and then the theater, it has steps to go on the stage. I'm always invisible. I'm invisible, and when we're in the theater, I'm always down there under the stage, or I actually go up the steps to get a higher up angle. And sometimes I'll probably play space or something, but that's very little, because instead of using the drone on the camera, which it does have a drone mode, but it's a lot harder, I captured a photo the way it should be captured as intended. Because if you're ever going to an actual event, obviously in real life you can't just fly your camera up there or get as close to a person as possible. having that distance and zooming in gives it that more natural feel, like this photo was taken correctly. And like no matter where I go, because sometimes and I'm glad I have an invisible avatar, even though some people probably will see me as a robot. I literally have a status that says, photographer, show my avatar please, because I will be in your way. uh and it happened once where if you know Gobbit, he's one of the managers with TVRS. He literally we went on stage and it was like, show this person because he's invisible. You don't want to see him. So but like if you ever scroll back on like my Twitter and find those photos from TVRS, or go through like the TVRS Twitter page, sometimes my photos show up on there. You could see what I mean, because my photos are taken specifically how they should be taken. Because I always see photos from people from people that like want to just take photos, and they posted it within the studio gallery, and I look at them like, not to be egotistical, but my photos are better. My photos are more natural. That's what I love about my photos too. They're a lot more natural, and they're taken specifically for that reason.
Well,
It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, everyone has their own way of doing things, and I do like the natural things more so than the newer technological ways. But I do also enjoy the drone camera, because the drone camera I'm able to set like floating pins that, to be honest, if you look back at our older content,
very useful.
This is so much more useful than how I used to do it, because you set a static camera somewhere and I just leave it there and then I'd record it from one position. But this, I can set these wonderful little doohickeys wherever I want and then float between them, which is the most amazing thing ever, at least for how I do it. And now I enjoy
definitely.
them. At least that's me anyway. I do understand your perspective of things, and I do enjoy those kinds of photos as well. That's just me.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, it's also kind of harder taking photos this way, because obviously with the VRchat camera is a lot more simpler, so it's a lot easier to take a photo. With my camera though, with VRC lens, sometimes I autofocus, sometimes I manual focus, and sometimes, like whenever I do a group photo with some people, like I take my time to set it up and make sure that everything is set up properly. And so, and with that, I really test myself within events. Sorry, my voice is dying.
It's okay.
Like within events, I really test myself to really get these photos like good and as perfect as I can. Because the actual system VRC lens is useful too, because as hard as it can be to actually like because you're constantly having to use the radial menu, and you can't move around as easy as just left or right with your radial menu. If you have your radial menu open, your action menu, you turn left or right with your left joystick, so it's a lot harder. So most of the time I'm still while taking photos, or if I have my settings just right, I'll get rid of the action menu and start moving around. But the cool thing about VRC lens is that it's got avatar autofocus, and it's got two sets. So it's got just a normal autofocus of following the avatar. It's got a little pen that I can use to select where the autofocus should be, and with that, it'll detect where the avatar is and how to focus. It's got like 3 different autofocus features. The actual autofocus, where you can use the pen, tell where to go, and that's it. The avatar autofocus, which I just described, and then there's a self avatar autofocus, where if I'm doing a self portrait, I set up my camera and I can either manually control the focus to be just how I want it to be, or I can set up that self avatar focus where it doesn't use the autofocus pen or anything. It is directly set onto me and will stay on me no matter what, unless I tell it to use something else. And the cool thing about it is that it has focus peaking. So what focus peaking is it'll display normally red lines on the parts of the avatar or thing that you are looking at that is most in focus. So if I were to pull out my camera and then point it right at you, it would, if I had my focus peaking on for autofocus, you would be red, pretty much. You would just be red because it is showing that you are in focus. And that's what I love about it. And with that avatar autofocus, it can allow to make it much easier and allow it to be a much better experience while shooting. Especially for fast events like the studio. I really got tested though last month. Have you ever heard of New Eden Evergarden?
Yes, I've seen their stuff around Twitter, but I haven't necessarily been to any of their events. So what?
I
Who are
haven't
they?
either. I've been meaning to go. They're a, I want to say club, but not like your actual like DJing clubs. They're like avatar showcasers. They dance and showcase amazing avatars that their performers put together, and they dance with them. And last month we did a collab with them, and so they showed off to the TVRS community and all that what they do and how like amazing it is. We had a scare during it, but I won't go into it. But I had to test myself because they are constantly moving, and we have a new lighting system, so the lighting's weirder. Like I had to really test myself taking those photos, and oh boy, did those photos turn out well. I really gotta post them though. they've been sitting in an external hard drive I have over here connected to my iPad, so I can edit them, just waiting to be touched because I've been behind on my photo editing, and I've now gotten back into like that grind and started editing photos. I got most of my photos done for Schism, and then now I have to touch up on TVRS and then start editing.
Okay. Well, my trackers are hating me right now. I've almost had them dead, so I'm gonna say we're gonna call it here. Is there anything you'd like to promote? Social media, booth, anything?
I mean, I'm a photographer. You can find any of my photos on Twitter, Instagram, or even Threads if you're on that. It's all Yamazakura VR. Very easy to find me. In my bio, I have TVRS photographer and Schism photographer. I also stream on Twitch. Same thing, Yamazakura VR. Same thing, TikTok, YouTube. I post on there. Hardly for short. It's mainly for like short form content if I can. And more recently, our podcast, if I can ever get that launched, it is called the Virtual Reality Booth Podcast, VR Booth Podcast. If you want any links, I can send them to you. But
Please
yeah,
do.
that's all that I got.
Please send them. I got 3 brain cells, and 2 of them keep me alive.
I understand that, and I live by that too.
Well, everybody, thanks for joining in, sitting in. Enjoy the rest of your day. You there, Raptor?
And I'm still here. And on that note, like they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I wonder what those 1,000 words.
Yes.
Think about it. Have a good one, folks. Take care.